welcome to today's video where I'll be covering the LCK Week 3 Day 1 and LPL Week 3 Day 3. We had 4 series today. The LCK, both series went 2 games, as you can see. The LPL series both went to 3 games. That has a lot to do with the matchups. Today in the LCK, it was lopsided in the first one and unexpectedly lopsided in the second one. Well, let's get started. So when I do this, I note all the key moments that happen in the game for you, and it's not meant for you to be able to read it necessarily. I mean, obviously you can't read the notes. They're for me to go over for you, so it can save you time from watching, say, a 38-minute game or whatever, 40-minute game. So yeah, Gen G. KDF, Guangdong Freaks, they are nowhere near Gen G's level. I tweeted out this morning, I said, clearly it is EDG and Gen G at the top right now, without a shadow of a doubt. Gen G came out firing in Game 1. They got a pick play early, turned it into a cloud. Got a Rift Herald at 10 minutes. This is going to seem real nonchalant and laid back how I go over this Gen G series, because it is just a blowout. 13 minutes, Guangdong would get an Infernal. Gen G would answer, however, and contest it with a Chovy double kill. So the Freaks didn't even get out of that unscathed. 15 minutes, Gen G are up 4-1. There's a trade in mid of kills at 16 minutes. Gen G takes an Ocean. If you can see here with the coloration, we got blue, blue, purple. There wasn't a lot of fighting between that window of time between the first uncontested Ocean and the Baron, except on objectives, in which case Gen G at 24 minutes went to Soul Point in a 5-0 ace that pretty much ended the game. All but ended the game. Chovy and Doran both with double kills in that fight. That turned right into a Baron, which was 6.5k to start, and 2 minutes later they would end 3-0 on a Chovy double kill. So excuse me. Final score 13-3. The way I kind of went over that was haphazardly, but honestly the game was decided in that fight. Specifically, Gen G are up at 24 minutes, up a good amount, and clearly are at the better place in scaling and things like that. But winning that fight 5-0 turned into a Baron, turned the game over on its head, and it was done. Game 2, the early game was a lot slower. Gen G would take a Hex Tech. The first fight that happened was at 8 minutes, where Gen G would dive bot lane. Guangdong would take a Mountain. Gen G would find a pick play. I will say Keen looked really good in this game for the Freaks. He is obviously the guy that they've relied on to carry them for years now, and it continues. In the Akali Gragas matchup, he had a solo kill at 14 minutes. Gen G would take a Cloud on the other side. Eventually, Gen G do take the Soul in this game. Keen would then solo kill Ruler at 19 minutes. At 20 minutes now, Gen G are up 5-2, both kills for the Freaks by Keen. But Gen G are up 2.5k gold. After that, Chovy would solo kill Fate in the LeBlanc Tryndamere matchup. It's kind of funny being solo killed as a Tryndamere. I thought that was impossible, but apparently not. Gen G would use that to go to Soul Point. Keen would then solo kill Chovy. 27 minutes. Gen G are up 5k gold. They take the Cloud Soul. And then the fight that decided this game, really, it's 5k. Gen G have the Cloud Soul. By the way, Lehens pulled out Janna in this game. Yesterday when I went over my nerfs, the teams that were buffed and nerfed, Janna was one of those champions that was buffed, but I didn't go over because no one really plays her, at least recently, because, it's Janna. Who the hell plays Janna? Well, Lehens played Janna, and he looked good on it. By getting the Cloud Soul, it just made them even faster and better around the Rift. So at 31 minutes, the game was decided when Gen G took the Baron, a 4-0 team fight win afterwards with a Ruler double kill. It ended 10-3. Peanut was my MVP. He was very impactful in these fights on Poppy and Lee Sin. Getting assists, setting up the play, taking out the carries. He may not have had a ton of kills, but he was impactful, ensuring they got a soul in the second game, getting the soul point in the first game. Very effective player. Game 2, Series 2, DRX and Bro. I'm trying to figure out, I think I said this yesterday in my LCK Power Rankings, we have 5 teams that were 1 and 3 at the bottom. They all have to play each other to figure out who's who. DRX shows that they are, at least right now, better than Bro. Bro doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, literally, they just, like I said, they wait for you to make a mistake, and if you don't make a mistake, they lose. And that's what happened in these 2 games. So, early game, the first thing that happened was Mountain Drake being taken by Fred at Brion. The first kill in this series happened at 17 minutes, where DRX won 2-0 in River. Bro, on the other side of the rift, took an Infernal after getting a pick. So, right now, at 18 minutes, Bro has 2 Drakes, and there's been 1 fight. 21 minutes, DRX would get another team fight win, 2-1 in the River. So, 22 minutes, DRX has a 1.5k gold lead, a couple kill lead. DRX would then take the Cloud to prevent Soul Point after a pick. They would get another pick play 5 minutes later. Like, it was 5 minutes between them getting a pick to take the Cloud Soul 24 minutes, and then the next kill 29 minutes. It was a very, very slow game. Fred at Brion special. Fred at Brion would go to Soul Point uncontested. 32 minutes, DRX would take a Baron after a pick. Fred at Brion did not want to fight after that pick. They had a 5k gold lead at that point. DRX then pushed that to an advantage. They would win 7. They'd be up 7-2. Kingen was 4-0-3 on Gangplank. He played a big role in those 2 early fights in River. He didn't have double kills, so of course I didn't note it. However, every fight he is participating, he has 100% kill participation with the Gangplank. 34 minutes, DRX would win a fight in mid 3-2. Deft and Morgan both with double kills. So Morgan showed up for Fred at Brion in this game at least on Akali. And I mean, you have to give him credit. I mean, really, Fred at Brion were rolling over in this series, but Morgan put up a fight. DRX would take a Cloud to prevent the Soul again. In 38 minutes, they finally ended. Zika with a double kill on Victor to end it at 38 minutes, like I said. So 14-6, very, pretty straightforward game. And then the next game was just as straightforward, 14-4. Very slow early game again. DRX take a Hex Tech before anything happens. 9 minutes, finally DRX does something. They go to the top lane, try and affect the top matchup. They would go up there twice, ensure that they were going to get an advantage for Kingen. At 12 minutes, DRX's bot lane got a 2v2 kill on its own. Turned that into a Cloud. Eventually, DRX do take a Soul in this game. At 15 minutes, Deft would solo kill Henna as Bro and Fred at Brion went to mid lane to try and affect the mid matchup. 15 minutes, DRX are up 4-2 again, but the very different situation. They are up 5k gold instead of 1.5, which is a massive difference of 15 minutes. The game is getting out of hand, despite the kills being so low. DRX get an Ocean Soul Point uncontested. 20 minutes, DRX would win the first significant team fight where all the players were together. 4-1, Deft with a double kill. That turned into a Baron, which turned into a 12k power play. So this game, similar to how I went over that first game, it just rolled and it was a snowball and it was just, Bro had no way of stopping it. A 12k power play, at 21 minutes is absolutely insane. By this point, it's 9-3 DRX. Deft is 5-0-0 on Aphelios. DRX would use that Baron to take the Ocean Soul, and then the final fight happened at 26 minutes. Deft with a double kill. I didn't make Deft the MVP. I made Pioshik the MVP because Deft was not really. He showed up in that one fight at mid, but he wasn't as effective as Kingen in that game, and Kingen wasn't very effective in this game despite getting all that attention early. So in the end, I give it to Pioshik. Pioshik is the one giving attention to everybody in the jungle. You could tell that he was playing a much better game as he also played Poppy and Lee Sin, similar to how Peanut did. Pioshik turns it around. He's the best player on DRX. He is their best player. So, I mean, as long as he's going, they're going. So that's pretty much it with the LCK today. I mean, Genji beating KDF is no surprise. DRX beating Bro is, I mean, I guess it's an upset. I mean, my power rankings, I have DRX 9th and Fred Brion 6th. But we're starting to figure out where these bottom teams are. I mean, we're trying to figure out who's better than who as we head into what they're going to have their Lunar New Year. So for now, next week, it looks like there's no LPL or LCK. So I'll have to figure out something to do. Well, I have my daily power rankings, but nevertheless, on to the LPL. All right, on to the LPL. So these games are a lot more competitive. I mean, individually, each game not so much. We have a 17-7, 22-4, 22-8, 24-5. So 4 of these 6 individual games are blowouts. But series overall, both go to 3 games. 4 teams that are probably, I mean, right now my power rankings are all in the top 9 of 17. Excuse me, we only have 2 losses on here out of anybody. So it's a very competitive series of games. Weibo and Victory 5 played quite a series. So let's get started. The first game, Victory 5, came out on fire. Rich looked dominant on Action. He dominated the Shy. The Shy played an awful series despite them winning, but I'll get to that. So Rich solo kills the Shy at 2 minutes. 4 minutes, they go to top lane again to ensure that the Shy is literally in the grave. 5 minutes, Victory 5 go mid, and at 7 minutes, they go bot. So, Karsa, excuse me, is all over the damn place on Xin Zhao. He is affecting all 3 lanes. He's ensuring his team's ahead. At 8 minutes, Weibo would win a team fight in the jungle 2-0. But at 10 minutes, Victory 5 responded in bot lane by going bot lane again. Karsa getting a double kill. So at 11 minutes, they're up 6-3, and Karsa is 4-1-1 on Xin Zhao. So they're just dominating them in the early game. That turns into a Mountain Drake. Eventually, Victory 5 take the Ocean Soul in this game. Weibo try and stop the bleeding by going top. Victory 5 just go and take a Chemtech Drake. There's a skirmish in mid at 23 minutes. It goes 1-1. Victory 5, after the reset, take an Ocean Soul to go to point. So at 25 minutes, it's only 8-5. So between 11 minutes and 25 minutes, there's not a lot of kills happening. But Victory 5 are extending their leads. They're getting objectives. And they're starting to really close in on this win. Wanfeng for Weibo was 3-0-1 at the time. So he played a good game in Game 1. I didn't include him as the MVP. And I'll get to that in a minute. But he did show up in all 3 games, which goes against kind of my MVP, how I determine MVPs, but nevertheless. So 29 minutes, Victory 5 take the Soul. It was contested, 1-1. Couple minutes later, Weibo would contest a Baron. Victory 5 win that 2-1. So Victory 5 are now up 12-6, and it looks like only a couple thousand gold. But they're up big in terms of kills at 32 minutes. So really, in terms of itemization, it is not that different within lane between Weibo and Victory 5. However, when it comes to fighting, Weibo cannot compete with Victory 5 with these compositions. The action in Samira, so Victory 5 pull out a Samira as well. They were just no match for what Weibo had drafted. 34 minutes, Victory 5 end. They slowly dragged it out, getting kill after kill right around the base and slowly just moved on in. It was, I mean, very methodical. And then at the end, they were finally just killing off people. So 17-7, the final score. Game 2, Weibo were not going to have any part of losing Game 2. Immediately, they went bot lane twice in the first 6 minutes. So they were going to ensure Wanfeng was ahead, and they succeeded on that. Victory 5 wanted to go top lane again to affect that matchup. When doing so, Weibo went to take a Cloud Drake. In the end, Weibo do take an Infernal Soul in this game. So souls are becoming very, very important. Weibo would go bot lane at 11 minutes in a fight that really kind of set the tone for this game and really like got it moving. Sure, like I said, Weibo were getting out there in bot lane in the very early game, trying to set up Wanfeng. But this fight was significant. It went 4-1 in the favor of Weibo. SFM had a double kill on Viego, and he ended up going off in this game. 12 minutes, Weibo are up 6-2, 4.5k gold, and Wanfeng is 3-2. So this gold lead is massive. It's bigger than anything Victory 5 had before 32 minutes, and even with a Baron, this was still bigger, and it was only at 12 minutes into the game. Weibo would take a Chemtech, and then in the mid-game, Weibo really started affecting other lanes, going to mid lane, going to top lane, winning a team fight 3-1. SFM with another double kill. And this is all before 20 minutes. Weibo goes to Infernal Soul Point. We finally reach 20 minutes. Weibo are up 11-3. SFM is 5-0-6, and they have an 8k gold lead. So the game is, getting really out of hand. Weibo would find a pick. They would then have a team fight. Victory 5 had to try and fight them for the Infernal Soul. It was an ace, a clean ace for Weibo. Wanfeng with a triple kill on Xayah. Turned that into a Baron instead of ending. Baron went to 10k power play at the start. It started at 10k. That's what I'm saying. Weibo could have ended that there, but they didn't. They pushed afterwards. Wanfeng with a triple kill to end it through bot lane. Final score 22-4. SFM, I think, in this game, he played a big role in the fight at 11 minutes that ensured that they were really moving. And then he played a big role in the fight at 18 minutes, back when the game was still closer, relatively speaking. Between 4.5 and 8k at that point, it's not really close, but it's very different than Wanfeng putting up like 8 kills when there's no time left on the clock and they've got a 10k power play and they're picking up kills. Like, you didn't play as big of a role in this win as SFM did. Game 3. Victory 5 threw the first punch, going up 2-1, taking the Rift Herald, and Karsa with a double kill at 9 minutes. So the early game was pretty slow, but at 9 minutes, Victory 5 ensured that they got up. Weibo would respond by going mid lane. 12 minutes, Rich would solo kill the Shy. This was in a Aatrox Scion matchup. Like I said, the Shy did not play well at all in any of these games, and he, even got solo killed on a Scion, which is hard to believe. Victory 5 would then take a Mountain on the other side of the Rift, and at 15 minutes, they were actually ahead, 3-2 and 2k gold, because of what Rich did in the top lane, in addition to that Rift Herald. 16 minutes, Weibo would go to mid, take a Hex Tech. Victory 5 responded by getting a pick play. So at 21 minutes, actually, the game is it's anyone's game at 21 minutes. Victory 5 are up 4-3, but the gold is now tied. So between 15 minutes and 21 minutes, Weibo getting that kill mid, taking a Mountain, a Hex Tech Drake, and getting a little bit of advantages and creating pressure. Now that gold lead that Victory 5 had is gone. There's a fight in the jungle at 22 minutes. It goes 1-1. 23 minutes, Angel would solo kill Rookie, and that was traded for. He ended up getting killed afterwards, but he did kill Rookie solo. And I believe it was going to be like a 3v1, and Angel came out. If you want to see it, it happened at 23 minutes. So at 24 minutes, Victory 5 are up 6-5, but SFM is 4-0-0 on Zed. That's fun, right? Zed. He pulled out a Zed in this third game to decide this series, and he looked great on it. Zed got nerfed, so they're still on patch 12.1. The LCK was on 12.2. That's why Janna matters for them, and Zed's allowed to be played here. And the Chemtech Drakes are still here, but not in Korea because patches. The Chemtech Drake's been disabled. So we saw the Zed before the Zed goes away, and he looked great on it. Weibo turned that into a Chemtech. Weibo then get a Baron in a fight which they picked off 2 players. So it was very contested. Weibo won a fight 2-0, took the Baron, tied a fight 1-1 afterwards, and this Baron would turn into a 4k power play. At 31 minutes, Victory 5 tried to contest the Chemtech Drake from Weibo going to Soul Point. Weibo would go to Soul Point anyways. Clean ace. Wan Feng with a triple kill to end the game 13-9. Like I said, SFM's my MVP for this series. Showed up important moments in Game 2. In Game 3, pulled out a Zed and was like 100% kill participation through the very early part of the game. I believe even in this game on Viego, he had like a 90% kill participation. I think. I'm pretty sure it was him and not Tarzan. So, Weibo, this was probably their best series they've played all year in their wins. Because a lot of times I feel Weibo ekes out wins and gets lucky, and the other team screws up in the end game. And Weibo, I think, have wins against teams at the bottom of the standings that, like, they had more kills than Weibo. So this was very clean. And it was nice that the third game was close. They had to show that they could win a close game, and they did that against a team that is on their level. The second series between LNG and FPX, very similar in that the first two games were blowouts. The third game was a bit closer. Not as close as this one, but closer nonetheless. I don't believe there's as fun picks in this series. I think it's pretty straightforward. The champions that were played. Yeah, it was straightforward. Oh, I didn't mention, in the LCK video, Barrel pulled out a Tom Kench. So we saw a Tom Kench sighting too in 12.2. Jana and Tom Kench, two champions that got buffed and reworked a little bit. For 12.2, we might see more of them in the future. Nevertheless, LNG, FPX. So FPX pull out Clid instead of Bejuan. So Clid is making his FPX debut. Mixed results. 6 minutes, LNG would go top lane to start this game off. FPX responded by going to the ocean. FPX would then go to bot lane afterwards to ensure that they went up in kills. 9 minutes, the first fight of the game. It happened after FPX took the Rift Herald. LNG would win that fight 2-1. At 12 minutes, Ale would solo kill Jalahu in the Jace, what looked to be Jace Gwen matchup. It could be Jace Graves. Can't read my own handwriting. It's either Graves or Jace. Graves or Gwen for Jalahu. Either way, Ale killed them with a Jace. 12 minutes, FPX took a Hextech Drake in a fight that they won. FPX took the Drake. LNG would win the fight afterwards 4-0, light with a double kill. And that's when the game kind of switched for FPX and LNG. Because now LNG were up 8-2, and now they had a 3K gold lead. Doomby was 2-0-4 in his rematch against his former team. And he was playing Rise. And, his Rise is nasty. He became known for it on FPX. And he showed them he is much better than Gory. So, 15 minutes, LNG would take another Rift Herald to push their gold lead even farther after a pick. FPX go to Infernal Soul Point. This is the time where FPX kind of threw a counter punch at 18 minutes. They won a team fight 3-0 to get it. Jalahu with a double kill. So now the gold lead's only 2.5K at 25 minutes for LNG, at 20 minutes for LNG. LNG then takes the next Infernal a few minutes later after a pick. 27 minutes. LNG would take a Baron. FPX would win the fight afterwards, but it mattered not because LNG were able to effectively use that Baron to push their advantages and end the game because they turned that Baron into a 10K power play. Within that time, they took another Infernal Drake and had a clean ace, Doomby with a double kill. They would reset 33 minutes. They ended 22-8. They were diving the fountain at the end. They crushed them in game 1. That's kind of that. Game 2, LNG would start by going top lane again, trying to affect the top lane matchup. Once again, FPX did the same thing. They took the Drake in response. LNG go mid lane. 9 minutes, however, FPX win a team fight for Rift Herald 2-0. Clid with a double kill. And then under 2 minutes later, FPX would win another fight 2-0. Clid with another double kill on Diana. So the game 2 matchup, FPX played the Wombo Combo comp. They have Diana, Galio, Camille. I mean, all of it just in a ball. Like, we are going to fight in this circle, and we are going to kill you if you enter this circle. And they went up big early on LNG doing that, and that's why they end up winning. So now, at 10 minutes, Clid already has 4 kills on Diana. They turn that into a cloud. Eventually, they take an Ocean Soul. FPX would go bot lane. During that, they'd get kills in top lane as well. In the teams had lane swapped. So the 2v2 was in top lane at 14 minutes, and they were able to get a kill within their matchup, as FPX was affecting the Camille Jace matchup amongst the top laners. FPX would then win a fight 2-1 in jungle. 15 minutes, they're up 8-3, 3k gold. Clid is 5-1-1. FPX would then win a fight 3-0 in river, turn that into a Hextech Soul Point before 18 minutes. So, I mean, it's just rolling. They win a fight 4-0 in bot lane. As they won a fight 4-0 in bot lane, Jalahu solo kills Ale in the top lane. So that Jace Camille matchup they had invested in turns out well for them. 21 minutes, FPX are up 16-3. Gory is 3-1-8 on Galio, and they have a 7.5k gold lead. So this game is all but over. You could even tell LNG kind of just wanted this game over and to move on to the next one. FPX take the Soul, Hextech Soul, 3-1 team fight win afterwards. LNG would then, there's a lot of, FPX were almost like unsure of how to end this game because they wanted to take Baron, but they couldn't, and they never take Baron in the end to end this, despite having their advantages. LNG were able to push them off of the Baron at 24 minutes, getting a kill. However, at 28 minutes, a fight around Elder, FPX would win 4-0. LWX with a double kill ended the game. I mean, I would be a little concerned about how FPX did try and not be able to end that game appropriately. You know, I mean, it's all playoff teams, so I mean, they're a playoff team, but it's something to keep an eye on because they are a young team. Clid should have been able to take control of that situation given his experience, but he didn't, as well as LWX. So, Game 3, as you can see, Light is the MVP, and he wasn't mentioned really in the first 2 games. In this situation, Game 3 was very impactful. Light, I think, goes 10-0-6 before the crap around the Nexus happens at the end. So, I mean, maybe he has more kills, maybe he has a death. But it was 10-0-6 before they started before they started screwing around. So, there's a trade of kills in bot lane at 3 minutes. Bot lane was very important in the early game. That's why he's the MVP. I mean, both junglers go down there. Trade of kills. 4 minutes. There's a 2-0 win for the bot lane of LNG. Light with both kills. Both junglers go down there again at 6 minutes. In which case LNG comes out on top. They use that power to take a mountain. And then they go back down there again. So 4 times in 9 minutes there's been action and kills in this bot lane. FPX would take the Rift Herald at 10 minutes saying, we're going to the other side of the Rift. So at 10 minutes, LNG are 5-2. Light has all 5 kills on Jinx, and they have a 1.5k gold lead. So all that gold is on the Jinx at the time. FPX would try and go top lane again to try and affect top even more. LNG take an Infernal. Eventually, LNG do take Chemtech Soul in this game. FPX go mid lane. The fight at 17 minutes for Chemtech Drake. Soul Point goes to LNG. They win the Soul Point, but FPX win the fight 2-1. The teams are still close even after that. At 19 minutes, there's a skirmish in the jungle that goes 1-for-1. So 20 minutes, actually, it's anyone's game. It's still 7-7, but Light is 6-1-1. So Light is like everything in this game for either team. FPX, it's more like evenly spread out who's got kills. But LNG, it is all in on Light. Let's get Light ahead. He's ahead big. He has to win this game for us. FPX would take a Chemtech uncontested, pushing back the Soul a few more minutes to allow Their teams to scale. 26 minutes, FPX will get a pick play, so FPX continues to actually, now they're up in kills, and up in gold at the time. However, at 27 minutes, the fight that decided it all, LNG 140 took the Chemtech Soul. In doing so, that turned right into a Baron. Doomby with a double kill in that fight. And then 30 minutes, LNG would end with a 4-1 team fight win. Like I said, Light ends up with 10 kills. So you can imagine from 20 minutes to 30 minutes between the fight for the soul and the end fight, because Doomby had the only 2 kills for the Baron, he Light ended up with 4 kills between the 2 fights. So he's the MVP. When the game was on the line, I mean, he was the carry. Tarzan put all his effort into ensuring that he was ahead, and I mean, they won. So we'll see how these teams fare going forward. I mean, like I keep saying, they're all playoff teams. Everyone's battling for second place behind DDG. So thank you for watching. I do this every day for all 4 major regions. If they play. I mean, obviously the LCS and LEC play on the weekend, so I touch on them on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And also I do my weekly power rankings. If you missed my LPL ones, they came out Monday, LCK yesterday, which would have been Tuesday, and today LEC will be out later. I also did a video that I thought was kind of interesting. I mentioned it earlier. I broke down the patch and then took the champions out of the patch that were most played by players in the 4 major regions last year and to start this year, and which teams are most buffed, most nerfed by the champions that were buffed and nerfed. So, because individuals, I mean, that could help some players, like Danny, for instance, for EG in the LCS, he has 3 champions now in Tristana, Senna, and Samira that were not really in the champion pool for the first couple weeks of the split, that are now possibilities because they were buffed. So just an example of one team. I have like, I think 6 teams benefited. 4 teams were nerfed, mainly by the Lulu nerf. And then there's like 4 or 5 teams I have listed that are mixed results. They've been nerfed and buffed, and we'll see how it turns out. Nevertheless, like I said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this content. And constructive criticism is good criticism.